All right, so I'm going to try this now. What I'm using now is I'm using StreamYard inside the browser. Inside the browser on the phone. And totally convinced it's going to be a solution. But if I recall before, the nice thing about StreamYard was that when things would go wrong, it was very forgiving for lost data. So, very forgiving for lost data. Now, it actually kind of sounds like I'm not even using the windscreen microphone now. So let me make sure I am. Now, it actually kind of sounds like I'm not even using the windscreen microphone now. So let me make sure I am. Okay, I am. That's cool. Oh, you know what it is? I know why. Because it's the audio processing. They do a lousy job of that, actually. So I'm going to turn that off. And with any, that will allow us to have a better experience audio-wise. Let me see if that sounds better or less. Turn that off. Let's see. Allow us to have a better experience. Now, there's a massive delay that I'm suffering from, but anyway, I hope you guys can hear me, and I hope that you're living the dream. And I think I am. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, I've only got the one app on, Paul. I made sure I deleted a bunch of those. I got rid of a whole bunch of memory or anything. But what would be interesting, because, I mean, again, I'm using the same microphone. I'm just using a different streaming solution. So I'm using StreamYard in the browser on the mobile device. They only made that available. Well, they made it available, actually, the day I was down in at Crystal Bay, when I was at Crystal Bay in Koh Samui. So anyway, so that was kind of a neat feature, and I tried that. Remember, oh, Aztec, dude, you are so awesome. Thank you very much, buddy. I really appreciate it. Hey, Joseph, good to see you, man. Thank you guys for coming by. I don't know if you guys are going to get a notification for this or not, but anyway, you know, I'll do this until this doesn't work. This will be probably my final try, because if it does stop, then I'm not quite sure, you know, what the best solution. Well, I know what the best solution is. The best solution is to have power. The average person doesn't do a live stream from two different phones in two different ways. So, but again, I mean, that's, you know, you guys know me well enough. You know that this is part of the fun. And so anyway, thanks, Aztec. You're great, dude. It's interesting because, you know, I was thinking about, like, when I would do this for a living, you know, and how if it was, like, not working. Well, if I were doing it for a living, then there would be a lot more, reason to do it perfectly, right? And so, to be fair, if I were doing it for a living, then there'd be a lot better. There would be a lot better. And there would be a lot different equipment, right? And I don't know, there's a part of me, because here's the deal, right? So Gracie and we're trying to save money. And the reason is because of, like, it's kind of like the video that I was talking about the other day. It's like, if I want to have everything ready, and I want to be able to act when I can. And, you know, that kind of means, you know, having some, like, extra cash around, if you will, when, you know, when we're going to be able to get Gracie over here. One of the things that you guys probably know about Thailand is there are ways to get over here. And when you get over here, yeah, 8 tracks, right? When you get over here, the alternative state quarantine, the ASQ, is, 14 days in a hotel that, you know, is not going to be, it's not going to be inexpensive. So basically, I want to have like, $3,000 to $5,000, to take care of potentially a 2-week stay in a hotel that would last. It would cost about $2,000. Gracie's got to make some trips up to Manila. She would have to get the fit to fly certificate and all of this stuff, and then she would have to go to the Thai consulate, Thai embassy actually, in Manila, apply for all of this stuff, and then potentially wait around. And I've heard that the waiting around part is sometimes, it's not days, it's like weeks. If that's the case, then she's not going to stay in Manila. So then she would need to fly back to Hamadan, basically wait till she got notified by the Thai consulate, the Thai embassy, and then she would need to go back to the Thai embassy, and presumably by that time it's 2 weeks later, so she's got to have another test. And I assume because of that, she's got to have another fit to fly certificate. I don't really know how that works. I guess the certificate of entry is what you get from the embassy. The fit to fly certificate, I guess that's probably sort of the equivalent of getting a test, maybe, right? But Shudawatu, hooray, didn't wait for notification, went straight to your live stream. You're okay, AV-wise now. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. You guys know me well enough to know that the statement, you're okay, AV-wise, is the equivalent of saying, oh my God, Mike, you look so much younger and thinner. And that's the broadcast engineer's attaboy, So anyway, what'd be neat too is if I got like ding, ding, ding notifications when there were chats that came up. That would be pretty cool. What'd be neat too is if I got like notifications when there were chats that came up. I don't know. I don't think the audio is as good with the using StreamYard versus just using YouTube. But again, my AV is good. I was thinking the other day about how this is the infamous double-edged sword that I'm living right now. Because these beaches are awesome. Because they're beaches in Asia. So, and they're here in Phuket. So they're really, really long, great walking beaches. The sand is pretty nice. It's not the white powder that is White Beach in Boracay, but don't forget, White Beach in Boracay is only White Beach in Boracay. It's maybe 2 or 3 other beaches in the Philippines, but the majority of the Philippines is, pretty rough sand too, and a lot of rocks in a lot of places. So anyway, it's great. Yeah, absolutely. Joseph says, can Gracie do a video from where she is? So sort of. Here's why I say it that way, is because she will go live on Facebook, and she'll be live like in the middle of her backyard at the farm, where, middle of nowhere, or she'll do it from the shop where there's sometimes Wi-Fi, and it's okay. It'll cut out that sort of thing. If she were to do one by herself, like just on YouTube, like I was doing, she would likely have at least good, the same, if not a better experience. In other words, it wouldn't be cutting out, kind of thing. And to be fair, if I did the whole thing on this phone and didn't really care about the microphone, then I'd be fine. But for me to bring her in on this, and I actually sent Rob a link to this StreamYard thing, but then of course I realized, oh well, I can't do that because I won't be able to hear him, right? So anyway, that's kind of a bummer, but yeah, I'm still working on that actually, and we'll likely try it. But she's also, she's very different than I am as far as on the camera. I mean, her default setting will be a very adorable, oh, I'm shy, which, I think you guys have probably heard that from Filipinas pretty regularly. Hey, Robert, good to see you, man. Thanks a lot for coming by. I appreciate it. I got 11 of you. Thank you very much for you guys. I really appreciate you coming back a third time. Because it's a lot, right? And but anyway, so the double-edged sword thing is the fact that, like, I'm here and I'm really enjoying these beaches, but Gracie can't be here. and I like it, but I'm really bummed that she can't experience it right now, right? So she's like watching this on video. And, you know, again, we talk every day, and she's definitely in my life. But as I mentioned, I think in another video, I'm just sort of, I guess maybe what's happening is maybe I'm coming to the realization of like where this really is. And that she's just not here. Funk Soul Brother, did I miss something? Why are they separated? Oh, okay, so we're just physically separated, right? I mean, she's in the Philippines and I'm here in Thailand. The reason she went back is because in March, after she and I got back from our trip to Koh Chang, we got back to the apartment on a Friday, the condo on a Friday, and that day, Duterte, the president, said, okay, well, you can fly in and out of Manila right now, but if you do fly into Manila, after Saturday evening at midnight, you're not going to be able to leave. And so that meant that either Gracie was going to try and stay in Thailand, which at the time, there was no amnesty. There was no idea what was going to happen. And we were just tail end of her 30-day stay. So when we got back from Koh Chang, our plan before COVID was to go to immigration, pay the 1,900 baht, and get her another 30-day extension. And I was still like, okay, this could probably happen, even like literally hours before she finally left for the airport. And then that announcement came in, and then it was like the world was getting pretty damn serious about being locked down and that sort of thing. So we made the decision, okay, well, what we'll do is we'll fly you home right now, and then, you know, you'll go through Manila, and then you'll get to Hamandan, and you'll be okay. Well, she got to Hamandan, and she was okay, but then the following morning, the health department knocked on her door, and they said, okay, well, you got to quarantine for 14 days. We'll bring you food, don't worry about it, but you have to quarantine for 14 days. So she did that, and so that's the scenario that we're at. She's basically in the Philippines, and she's safe, and, you know, she's able to get medical care if she needs it. She's got plenty of food. She's working because, like, the market that her little shop is in, that's open again, the Hamandan Public Market. So, so she's there. And again, you know, she's 35, right? So she doesn't qualify for a retirement visa. But the good news is that I'm working on a plan to get a visa that is like one of those deals where you can like add your spouse to it, you know, sort of thing. So that'll be something that we try and work on. But that's, you know, that's in the works, and I've got until October 2nd on my current visa. And my 90-day report actually goes past that. But so, you know, at the end of the day, if it gets close to like, a week or two before my visa is going to expire, and I don't have a visa solution yet, then I'll probably just extend my OA. And in doing that, I will give myself another year in Thailand, and I'll be fine. What I would prefer is have the ability to do some additional things, as well as have potentially a 2-year visa or a 5-year visa. The 5-year, so the multiple year like smart visa, or the multiple year visa through the BOI, the Board of Investment, in Thailand, or a smart visa with, you know, sub S, which is basically startup, you know. And, you know, my business partner and I were working on a pitch deck anyway, so I may apply for one of those, because essentially it's only like $10,000, it's $300, basically the equivalent of applying for a visa anywhere, from anywhere. So, so that's sort of an option. And, you know, the elite visa for 5 years is interesting, but it really locks me into not being really able to get anything close to a work permit in those 5 years. So kind of like to have some options. So if I'm going to do a visa where it's like, okay, well, you can't work, all right, well, fine, but it's a visa where you can not work, but it's only for a year, and then you can like figure out a new solution. I mean, I really want to do something entrepreneurial, and my business partner and I were doing it in Southern California, but the funding pretty much dried up there for that. So now we're thinking, okay, well, we should probably do it over here in this part of the world. because there's really a lot of possibility over here for growth in the personal safety vertical, if you will, which is what our app is going to be doing. So anyway, give a thumbs up and 10 years of good luck. I would appreciate that. Thank you so much, Joseph. In these times of frustration in the military, we used to joke in front of the new guys that the Russians were jamming us. Or, yeah, maybe it was sunspots. Yeah, I used to, and you know what's funny about sunspots? I mean, I was in radio, right? And so we used to do, a lot of the content would come in from satellite. And that was a problem because it would happen midday and we would get sunspots and the audio would dump out. And, you know, you can tell your listener, you can make up excuses all day long. But they don't particularly want to hear. And, but yeah, it would just, and of course, you know, satellites are digital, right? So it would just be like, it would just like stop, like, oh my God. So that was, you know, that was always kind of funny. But yeah, it would happen, you know, traditionally in the fall, and then we would have to, you know, basically fill the dead air with something. And sometimes it would last, you know, 20 minutes or something like that, like at the peak. But yeah, sunspots were never any fun, that's for sure. Here's a tip. Don't click like twice. It doesn't work like that. It's an on-off. Click it once. When it turns blue, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. That's so cool. Thanks for the recap. Hang in there, Mike. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm literally hanging in there right now, right? In my swing. But, yeah, the good news is that, you know, I'm just so grateful. I mean, Gracie's painting the house. She's painting the inside. And we're going to have her brother paint the outside. So that's going to be cool. She's about 3 coats into the inside. And it's interesting. So here's an interesting, maybe not fun, but certainly interesting, at least for me, fact. The cost of paint in the Philippines is approximately the same as the cost of paint in the United States. And the only reason I find that interesting is that I've discovered that the cost of things that are like mechanical or that are, you know, like home improvement and that sort of thing, the cost of them in the United States, first of all, like at Home Depot, for the money, you get a better quality item, and you know, you also get a lot more options, right? I mean, in other words, if you walk down the aisle at Home Depot for toilet seats, there's like 17 different versions in white. And then there's cream colored, and then there's padded, and then there's slow. You know, whereas you go into somewhere in the Philippines, it's like, yeah, so we've got the 2, big toilet, small toilet. Like, what else do you guys need? You know, but again, the U.S. is excessive in a number of areas, right? I mean, I had a guy that I used to follow on YouTube, and he would talk about, you know, there's the underdeveloped countries, there's the developed countries, and then there's the overdeveloped countries. And he would label the United States, Switzerland, that sort of thing, Canada, as overdeveloped. But I don't know about Canada, you know, but I understand why the U.S. could be labeled overdeveloped. That's absolutely, I can completely get that. It only works for dislike. Absolutely. Hit the dislike button twice. Well played, Aztec. That's good. 13 of you guys. Thank you so much. Can I visit in August without getting quarantined by arrival? When do they open borders for foreigners? So you can, if you want to try and get in August, I'm not going to assume this, but you're going to need to have a certain kind of visa, one of about probably, so, okay, I'm going to assume that by the second name of your YouTube channel that you are coming from China. So from China, you're going to have to get even with China, you got to get visa on arrival. So you can't just stamp in anyway. You can't come in on a tourist visa. You're going to need to get some type of long stay visa, presumably a B visa, but that still won't get you in. You're going to need a work permit along with that B visa. Between now and August, there's no, if you're willing to huck a ton of money at it, you might be able to get a B visa with a work permit by August 30th. 31st. You can get a elite visa. That will allow you to come in, but yes, you will need to do a 14-day quarantine, absolutely, and you'll need to do it at the approved hotel. Oh, you're coming from Holland? Okay. So, as far as I know from Holland, then, you know, you guys didn't need to do visa on arrival anyway. But my point is that you're going to need to have a long stay visa. They're not open for international tourism, let's be clear. The people that they're going to let in are basically the people that come here and they do business, i.e. sometimes those people are labeled as critical, you know, to the economy kind of thing, or critical to the organization, or like, you know, whatever. So there's that rub. You're very welcome. What I would also invite you to do is go over to this other YouTube channel called It's Thai Things, ITS Thai Things. And I believe her name is Trey. I might be pronouncing her first name wrong. Anyway, she's a Thai woman, and she recently went through a good video of all the, I think it's either 26 or 28, I think it's 28, approved hotels that you would have to stay at for 2 weeks. And towards the end of her video, when she goes through the individual ones that are additive to her previous video, where she talks about 13 or 14, she talks about what's available and the cost, like the low cost, and then the, you know, because all of the hotels are going to quote you the lowest possible cost. And I assume those quotes are for like one person, you know. And again, it's like, well, yeah, but how much does it cost to have a second person in a room? Well, not that much, but they're also going to have to feed you 3 to 4 times a day, and so that's going to be double that sort of thing. And you know, I guess double the number of towels, and so there's probably going to be an additional cost to a second person living with you. But hey, Aztec, thank you very much. That is Thai thing. Cool. I think she's come up with a couple of videos since the one that I'm referring to, which is the one where she talks about the AQH hotel, or the ASQ, alternative state quarantine, which means you're not in a state hospital, or you're not in a state, you know, mandated hotel. The Pullman is one that always sort of comes to mind, just because, I mean, it's right there on BTS and that sort of thing. But of course, if you're quarantined for 14 days, it really doesn't matter where you are, because you're likely to take a Grab to it, and then you'll be in the room for 14. So that's another thing too that she mentions in her videos, that you'll be there for actually 16 days. You won't be there for 14; it'll be 16. And that's because the first day you get there is considered day 0. You don't like get credit for the first day. You only get credit for the first full day after the basically second day. So another gotcha. What's the name of that video? So great question. Oh, I can look, or one of you guys can look, and you can actually post it there. I mean, she's on my subscriptions, so I can actually have a look and let you guys know, because it's a pretty decent. It's a decent new channel. She's really cool. She's like normal, you know, which I really appreciate. You know, she's funny and adorable, kind of. I mean, she's not, you know, she's not like, you know, little girl adorable. She's actually, you know, she's adult adorable, if you will. And so that's kind of cool. It's called Quarantine Hotels in Thailand, and her name is Teya, T-E-Y-A. And anyway, so it is her second to last video. It was released 3 days ago, and it's already got almost 7,000 views. Her previous video had 17,000 views. She's getting a lot of it. You know, I mean, she's doing a good job with the data that she's providing. And the reason that I like and respect her is the fact that she's a previous tour guide, but she's also a previous journalist. And so with that, I like to think that her reporting has some degree of accuracy with data and fact to it, and I believe it actually does. So it's not just sort of opinion and conjecture, right? And so that's good news. So I'm actually at 95% charging this battery. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my battery pack, and I'm going to make sure that the battery on my broadcast phone here is getting charged as well, and it is. Look at that. Pretty awesome. I see a little bit of jitter that's going on there, but I think for the most part, we're at 24 minutes, and I think that's a hell of a lot. I think that is that's a hell of a lot longer than last time, right? Am I right? Yeah, so I think that might be the YouTube app, which is kind of interesting. Maybe I need to update the app on that phone, and I haven't done it yet. That could be it. Oh, in China, hey, thanks a lot. I also see your comment on my Bangla Road video, which of course was just about 2 minutes. Me sort of sharing the fact that it's raining like cats and dogs. Where the heck does it's raining like cats and dogs come from? You know what? I'm kind of getting tired. I think I slept pretty well last night. I did the whole, like, you know, sliding glass door, window open over the porch. You know, so I was listening, sorry, something in my eye. So I was listening to the, you know, the waves, right? And I seemed to get a good night's sleep. For some reason, I woke up this morning, I was like, yeah, checked in with my buddy who's back in California who just got a job. I'm so freaking proud of him, man. Oh my God, I'm so excited for him too. I mean, you know, there's one thing, it's like yes, I'm proud of you because you have, you know, the skill set that's necessary for this job. But I'm also grateful because there's plenty of guys out there that have skills for jobs that can't get jobs because there are no jobs. And so it's great news to hear that he got a gig because, as you know, it's distracting when you don't have full-time employment. So, yeah, that could be bad. But I find that it's a little bit more echo than I'd like on this camera, actually. So I'm going to have to figure out how that works. Again, I was really liking the audio quality for YouTube, but I don't know. I mean, the bottom line is you can hear me, right? You just can't hear me like I'm talking into an SM7 in a studio. So anyway, but I got 10 thumbs up, 0 thumbs down, and 10 million shakas. Way to use it, buddy. That's pretty cool. How long? Yeah, how long is the flight down here? So the short answer is that my flight down here was 45 minutes. They normally schedule it for about an hour and 10 minutes. And that's when there's a significant amount of air traffic and they're pulling away. They're basically backing up at the time they're going to leave, which means it's not, you know, literally wheels up, right, for like another 10 to 15 minutes. And then again, depending upon traffic on the tarmac as you're getting out there, you know, before you get cleared for takeoff, it's like, you know, that can really add a whole bunch of time into it. So we left early, and yeah, we were down here within about 45 minutes, very early, and so that was nice. And I would submit that by the time you guys are able to come over here, there's probably not going to be. I mean, because you're planning for this, right? And so you know, that'll probably be fairly early on in the international travel opportunities. So you'll probably be able to get down here pretty quickly. Or potentially you'll be able to fly directly into Phuket if you want to come down here. I got to tell you, man, the beaches down here are gorgeous, and there's like one after another. I mean, there's a lot of beach in Phuket. That's pretty cool. Excuse me. Oh, see, there I go. Hey, good morning, Baba. I'm guessing that you have enough subscribers for an investment drive. My apology for comments behind chat, but Boost is throttling my data. Oh, no, that's fine. Have enough subscribers for an investment drive. Oh, you mean like for money? Oh, no, that's okay. Again, I do this for fun and for free. I mean, that's another reason why, like, I don't really get too disappointed when, like, these imperfections occur. Because, like, right now, I'm really excited because it hasn't dropped out. So thank you, StreamYard. And although let me do this one thing, I do want to check on the temperature of the phone because I am kind of curious. Oh, yeah, it's not warm at all. That is fantastic. Outstanding, man. That's great. There's a part of me that kind of wants to walk around and show you guys this area now that I've had just such wild success with the audio, or sorry, with the video staying solid. I might do that. I mean, again, you know, we seem like we've been successful, so I think I've found a solution to this thing dropping out. And so I think what I'm going to do is I think we're going to go mobile. We're going to go air mobile, son. Do you want to surf or do you want to fight? Who knows what that's from? Come on. Classic. What the first epic Vietnam movie. Oh, Bahara. So that I'm going to get rid of, but I do need some water. Stand by. Now, the other thing I'm going to do as we walk here because I'm going to be using the tripod. I'm not going to use the gimbal just yet. But I think I'm going to be okay. And I can still see the comments on the screen, by the way. So, oh, I'm going to put my hat on. Oh, tell me that I put it in the bag and not back of the motorbike. Yeah, cool. Hello again. I'm going to leave my sleeves down, actually, because I forgot to put sunscreen on my sleeves. I put it on my sleeves, on my arms. I put it on my head. I figured, well, that would probably likely be one of the first places. If I can do this with the thing, you got to pee. This is fantastic. Go live more than anyone else I know. So Dana's awesome, man. He's a really good friend, and he's also very technically competent. So I know that he's sitting here, and he's aware of the iterations that I have to go through to get this right the 9th time. Aztec says, holy smokes, Mike. Townhouse for rent, 8,000 baht a month, not far from there. Not far from Bang Tao Beach? Oh, I have no doubt, dude. I mean, dude, okay, so here's the interesting thing about Bang Tao, not Bang Tao, Bang Tao, is that it's got a lot of the bigger, like full-on, full-service type resorts, you know, where they'll have, you know, like multiple, couple spas, they'll have like multiple restaurants, 2 or 3 pools. I mean, it's a public beach, but they'll basically have like their own beach, like they'll have their own chairs out in it. And they're all closed up. I mean, gates in front of them. Some of them have tarps all over the fences that are in the front. You know, there's pretty much one guy working there, and he's the guard at the front saying, "Don't come in here." And oh yeah, I noticed that VECAY did something. What is it? Oh yeah, it's Korean Air. Actually, if you looked at my if you follow me on Facebook, then you probably saw my post regarding the how Korean Airlines was shutting down their offices in. I'm actually going to leave this here, and I'm going to come back. I'm going to pick it up on my way back. I promise. Okay. I'm still here, right? Oh, phew. Okay. So what's crazy is I'm like, why did this happen? And I'm like, is it because I lost? Anyway, okay, first of all, I want to thank the person that gave me $5. Hugh, thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it. Never let a machine outsmart you. Yeah, trust me, I'm trying not to do that. Baba asked, where's Rob? I know what I did. I hit the, like, you know, the close the screen button, but then I started hitting things. It turned off the hotspot. It turned on Do Not Disturb. It did, I'm like, oh, my God. So anyway. I am perfectly imperfect, aren't I? All right, let me get to some of these comments. Anyway, Hugh, thank you very much, man. I really appreciate that. I'm honored by the donation, and and the stream froze. Absolutely. Great stuff, right, Data? He just said he'll be right back. Hey, Captain, good to see you, man. Mobile coverage in Phuket is spotty at best. Well, it's not Bangkok, Dana. I mean, I totally get that. Yes, you're right. Last time I went on vacation there, only half the villa we rented had good. Had good Wi-Fi coverage or had good LTE. A big howdy to you from both and back. All right, cool. Thanks, Dana. It's so funny too because Dana and I were kind of chatting earlier today, just back and forth on some comments. He's like, "Dude, we got to do another live stream, or we got to do another podcast together." And so I'm sure he's like, "Indoors, Mike." You know, Mike, where the adults do podcasts. 16 of you, though, is what StreamYard tells me, and thank you guys so much. And again, if you're just joining or you're new to the channel, greetings and aloha. What's going on? It's Mike's from LiveMyAssOff.com, and a lot of times this sort of walk and talk beach thing that I'm doing right now is done in post, and I'm not doing it live. But boy, oh boy, I have to thank StreamYard. I mean, you know, look, they do like about 10 things, and they do 10 things, and they do 10 things really, really well. The only complaint I've ever had about them is the fact that their technology has limited features. But one could argue that, yeah, Mike, but they spent a ton of time and attention units on doing Indoors indeed, my friend says. Although, how is it right now? I mean, I bet the video is a little choppy, right? And the cool thing is I still got the dead cat going on, which is good. And yeah, so StreamYard is really good. And if I could get closer to the screen, then I would be displaying some of the comments. But I find that the fact that it buffered that long, I mean, I completely lost internet connectivity between this phone and the Tether. I had to turn it on. It had to regain the Wi-Fi connection, which one could argue it could have, like, you know, thrown in a different cookie, but it was still the stream with the code in there. And I'm really excited because, you know, up until now I've been using the YouTube app, which the main reason I use it is because it's so reliable. But StreamYard, interestingly enough, I remember when they said, yeah, you can now use our service in the browser on a mobile device. And I thought to myself, why did these guys not make an app? Yet here I am using them in my Chrome browser on my phone. And I would say this is pretty damn close to perfect the way that it's working right now. So that's pretty awesome. The beaches are great there. Yeah, it's pretty nice, dude. I mean, it is. Oh, here. I'm sure that there's some undertow, of course. I'm sure it's not intense, and if you're a decent swimmer, I'm sure you wouldn't die out there. But those are really, and if it's not really that intense at all, those are really cool hanging out waves. Those are like really good sized ones, and then you can just body surf right in, right? I mean, anyway, I'm not in the mood to swim today, and also I'm a little tired. Like, I mean, significantly tired, and but that's why there's caffeine, right? And again, I don't know if you guys saw me. I think my video cut out when I was doing this. But when I walked away from where the tripod was over there, one of the things that I meant to show you in the video, or tried to show you in the video, is that I'm leaving my Diet Coke back there. And I promise I'm going to grab it when I get back, on the way back. So, audio is great, surprisingly. Great, some macro artifacts on the video, but still watchable. Thank you very much, man. Yeah, this dead cat thing, Dana, I got to tell you, I mean, obviously I could have just, like, gone over to Pro Plugin, right, and gotten a, you know what I was really looking at? I mean, because, you could get a Rode, right? That's kind of the standard. But I was looking at, I believe it's Saramonic. Am I getting the manufacturer correctly? Saramonic. Some of that Saramonic stuff, dude, is really decent quality gear, and it's priced accordingly. But I was like, man, this stuff is really, I mean, it's pretty damn close to, like, broadcast quality. And by that, I mean, not only is it excellent, for the time, but also, I mean, again, for the most part, guys, the reason things will be labeled as broadcast quality in the audio world is because they're incredibly durable. And, because there's plenty of things that, like, can sound decent. Like this microphone here, I think I got it on Lazada, Dana. I think I probably paid, like, 400 baht. I mean, it was ridiculously inexpensive. And I thought, okay, well, when it gets here, if it doesn't get damaged in shipping, then I should be good, right? And I'll tie it out. But I've been actually very pleased with it. If anything else, it's got too much gain. Because if I use it, like, really close, then I'm, like, over-modding the thing like mad. One of my videos that I did when I was using it just on the gimbal, it really, I mean, I was picking up way too much. When I was editing the video, I had to dump down the audio to, like, 75%. And, of course, even, but, it was recorded over-modulated, so I was like, okay. But, oh, you have some Saramonic. Nice stuff. Really? You refer to it as budget gear? Is it actually pretty decent? No, the mic's not powered. And I thought, okay, because I understand the benefit to the powered mic, obviously. But you know, as you notice, right, I like to do these outdoor things, and I like to do them, you know, where here's the deal. I need to be able to buy, like, emergency supplies, if you will, at a 7-Eleven. That's like, I can count on there being a 7-Eleven everywhere I go in Thailand, even if it's like in the mid. God, look at this. Are you kidding me? My God. Man, you go back to my video when I was talking about, like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to make this happen? I mean, from my glasses now, from my vantage point, from my view right now, I like to think, objective way that I'm sort of looking at my life right now, I have no regrets. But man, the statement of why the hell did you wait so long, as you might guess, comes up. The good news is that the beach basically isn't going anywhere. The sharing of it with other people, that's going to vary, and it always has. I mean, the first time I went to Maui was in 2009, and guess how many people were vacationing because they had disposable income in 2009? Exactly. So, I'll give you a great example. So, the deal that I got in 2009 to go to Maui for the first time, first of all, it was like, I think it was like $299 round trip from San Diego, from San Diego direct to Maui on Hawaiian Airlines. And then when I got there, it was like 6 nights, 7 days, Sheraton Black Rock, which is basically on Kamalala Beach, all the way down the end, and a rental car for the whole week, and breakfast, and dinner if I would go 2 days without having them change the bedding. I'm like, well, I don't get a whole lot of real dirty when I'm sleeping, so I think I could handle the sheets. Certainly don't change them every day at home. And with that, they gave me free dinner. And it was like a package thingy that I got. I think I bought it at Costco.com, not including the flight. It was like $1,300. I mean, I think the last time I was in Maui, I stayed at an Airbnb, and I stayed. Oh, and in fact, I kept track of the entire trip because I was going to say, okay, well, let me use this budget in comparison to like some other trips that I'm going to do, because at that time it was actually last March, and so I was like, okay, well, my job isn't lousy yet. I didn't realize it was going to get bad. But I was not digging living in San Diego. The weather was not helpful. And the short answer is I was getting depressed. And because of the May gray and the June gloom that was showing up in March. And I guess doesn't work for me. So I'm like, I got to go somewhere warm. I need some photons. I need to generate some vitamin D. So I'm like, I'm going to Maui. And I think the whole trip was like, it wasn't 6,000, but I think it was like 5,400. I mean, it was, you know, so I rented a car and I had this Airbnb. The Airbnb was like $375 a night. It was like, oh my God. It was distracting. But I got rejuvenated and I had a great time, you know, until I summed it all up. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, check out his channel. Solid bill. All right, man, that's cool. I'll have to check it out a little bit. Did I eat at the Red Tomato on Kamalala Beach? What's it next to? The short answer is possibly. I've been to Kamalala. Again, it was the first place that I went in Maui. The last time I was in Maui, I did sort of drive over there, and then I was going to the, is it a Safeway? Anyway, I was heading to the Safeway on my way there, and then I went there and just kind of cruised around. But I I didn't go to the beach. I didn't go to the sand this time. But I think I've been there like 3 or 4 times, and there's that mall there. And I was there. Oh, that was interesting. Yes, I pick up garbage if I find it interesting. And it's not in that mall, right? It's kind of like, let's see. So far, all the way down in Black Rock is the Sheraton. And then if you go basically south from there, it's kind of Poly Beach Hotel that's right next to it, right? And then there's another couple of resorts. And then I think there's that mall. Now, I got to tell you right now, if I were to sit in one of these things, oh, no, there is someone over there monitoring it. But, I mean, you know, again, they're here because the expectation is, I guess, the resort, it's going to be used by the resort, or maybe it's that facility over there. You know, so that's sort of the private beach experience here. In other words, you know, they're not going to charge me to walk past, but you know, if I'm going to sit down, then I wonder how much it is. I mean, considering, you know, what it is now, I mean, if they were to make 100 baht, they would be like, whew, at least we paid for the guy to sit there and stare at the chairs for an hour and put him out in the morning. But yeah, you got 2 of the Ceremonic mixers and a few smaller mics. You've got a Ceremonic mixer? The one that we used, that was a Yamaha, wasn't it? I couldn't remember. Anyway, right on the golf course, huh? Okay. Currently eyeballing the Ceremonic Blink 500 wireless lav kit. Yeah, 2 transmitters, 1 dual channel receiver. Yeah, that can be financially attractive, having 1 receiver. And again, you know, you're much more professional than I am. I mean, this is a hobby for me, right? But I can tell you from this is what I did in radio before perspective. If I had a rack mount receiver that had 2 channels in it, that seemed to be an okay thing for wireless mics. Oh, and the other thing too is that the lower the frequency, dude, I will pay extra for UHF. Oh, sorry, VHF. Because once you go UHF, man, the penetration is not there. I've done VHF mics. I mean, like because you know how like a stadium, right? All the walls are made of concrete blocks. And we would have basically backstage back there. And not only, the cool part is we had UHF mics, which makes sense. And we were all the way at the back of the stadium. This is about a 10,000 people arena, Cox Arena in San Diego. And we were behind these walls, got great coverage, never cut out. The cool part is that the monitors we had were also VHF, so they were able to hear everything in real time because there's no delay, full-on analog. It was, I was so pleased with those. And I'm trying to remember, the monitors that we were using were ridiculously overpriced, but they were so freaking reliable. And rugged too, right? Because they were for broadcast. But oh man, the fidelity. And interestingly enough, like, how did you discover those, Mike? Alanis Morissette used them, and so I thought, well, you know, if they're good enough for her. So, yeah, absolutely. UHF is where, yeah, absolutely, dude. Of course, dual input is ideal, but for running, yeah, definitely. Receiver would be ideal for sure. I'm psyched to check out the Ceremonic mixer you've got, bro. That's really rad. I don't remember seeing them. I remember the Ceremonic products I saw, like over there at Fortune Town, were primarily microphones and microphone-related gear, so like monitoring and that sort of thing. Q says, we are losing Mike to the tech side. Yeah, sorry about that. Quick wiggle of your toes in the sand, and took a pretty took a pretty seashell. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I like the outdoors. I love the beach, and I like to get spiritual and that sort of thing. But Mike, how come you retired so early? Well, I'm a geek. I didn't just mow more lawns than the next guy. I was in an industry where, from a technology perspective and a leadership perspective, the people that were more geeky, but also able to empower all the other people around them and treat them with respect. And I was so grateful to whatever. I had that gene for whatever. I was just like, but again, I was also, in my 40s, right? So, I mean, when I was in my 20s, it was difficult for me to like squelch my ego and be a manager and ask other people for help because, of course, if I did it, well, then it would get done right and it would get, but by the time I was like in my 40s, it was like, man, the amount of leverage I'm going to have by empowering other people to do this that in my mind will take them twice as long because they're not as brilliant as I. No. It was great, man. I had a great team. I was actually interfacing with one of them the other day, my buddy Patrick, and I tell you, that's what I miss. I miss hanging out with my guys. And, but you guys are my new guys, and so that's pretty cool. Just lined you 2 pics of the small passive one. Thank you very much, Dan. I'll check it out. In 170 meters, if you turn right, follow that road down 300 meters, there's this place that's only 7,000 baht a month. Okay, hold on. When did that come in? Like pretty much right away. So I'm not that far behind is my point. So you're telling me like, is that the 170 meters where I take a right? Is it right there? I mean, I know obviously if you do a Google Earth thing, it's going to be outdated, but let me know if you can tell me if you have an idea where, oh my God, that's so funny. I didn't realize that I clicked on one of the things and displayed it. So sorry about that. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's one of Dana's comments. I mean, it's not, but the point is that I don't want you to leave one up there. I can't get to all of them. So, that's not going to be how I do this today. So, okay, hold on. I'm seeing some seashells, Caesar, but not many. Send security app. I have a list of about 7. Okay, give me one. So yeah, I'm probably staring for nice. Oh, these are kind of cool. I haven't seen these lounge chairs for, I don't know if I've ever seen these. These are kind of a cool design. Although, I kind of wonder about the pillow in the back because you might want something a little bit higher for your upper back. Might be okay, though. Oh, is this the road I'm supposed to go down, dude? God, I've been going for 55 minutes. This is great, guys. Do you want me to head down this way, Aztec? There's a museum of sorts above Patong Beach. Great ride on the moto. So I cruised down to Patong, Caesar. And yeah, it is. It's kind of a nice ride. Oh, dude, sober sunsets. Thank you very much. I'm honored. It would be here. That would be where we would spend that $5 on a sober sunset. Sober sunsets, dude. You want to talk about a cool name? I'm all about that. Those are the best kind of sunsets, right? Absolutely. Yeah. Aussies stirring it up again. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. No, bro, I actually thought, okay, well, I thought you were giving me crap about the list of 7. But I was actually kind of excited. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'll go check out a condo. But if you don't have them, you don't have them. I guess it's Paul Resort down there. Is that the deal? I don't know. The video still seems okay. Like you guys said, the audio is probably still good, but the video may be choppy. So I'm sorry if that's the case. But I think considering the flexibility, 18 is what I see you guys, 18 concurrent watchers. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically just do this until this dumps out, because you know, you guys are pretty much used to me doing streams that way now. When did Mike stop streaming? When his phone died. So, although considering I have this plugged into the battery, where am I at now? I'm at 27% battery, and I have the battery plugged in. Well, that's a little bit disappointing. It doesn't sound like it's charging to me. Or maybe it's just keeping it solid at 27% and I didn't notice. I'll look up again. But, you know, of course, I do have the possibility of continuing the live stream on my other phone. If you guys remember the live stream I did from, where was I? When I was on the motorbike coming out of Samui, Crystal Bay. So you may remember I went from phone to phone. I could kind of do that here, but again, one of the reasons I wanted to do this is because of the microphone. Although I think it's painfully obvious that the fidelity, for whatever reason, from the exact same microphone, when I'm using it with StreamYard, and I've even chosen this microphone because it did have like default and then like camera microphone and then, you know, the dead cat microphone. So, since you are moving around, the video is going to suffer just based on your potential bit rate and throughput. Yeah, I would agree with that, man. Caesar says, also heard the beaches at the south tip of Phuket has the best shells. Just a rumor there. Yeah, I'm not really sure. It's been a long time. As an alcoholic, I appreciate finishing the day sober. Roger that, dude. Okay, so here's what's funny, right? These kids up here, they're screaming out the name Michael, and I assume they're talking to their buddy right there. But as you might guess, I'm like, are you the lady that works in my hotel and you're screaming at me from afar? The only people that refer to me as Michael are the only people that know me from passports. So, yeah, it's a good life sober, isn't it? Technology and being in recovery are two things that I can pretty much talk ad nauseum about, as I'm sure you guys have experienced. But, you know, if you're new to the channel and you're wondering, like, what the heck I'm doing here? One of the phrases you'll hear me use is, I'm living the dream. And there has never been more truth to a bumper sticker saying in my life than that. It's a great life. It really is a great life here. And, you know, it's funny, a little while ago I thought, well, you know, I should probably stop doing these videos because, I mean, I'm sure there's a little bit of interpretation, like I'm rubbing it in your face maybe or whatever. But the good news is there's enough of you guys that know me on here. You're like, well, no, why would he do that? It doesn't do that. No ROI. There's no emotional benefit to him for doing that. So, I keep doing them because, you know, I want to, like, share this with you. Because, again, you know, once you can get over here, and yeah, you know, it's sticky right now, but it'll happen. Then you're going to be able to come here. And I hope when you guys do get here, you take a picture of that little dirt road that was back there, and you send the damn picture to Aztec and say, hey, dude, there's no condos down here. Go to hell. Hey, Rob, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for coming by. Any island hopping while you're down there? Well, Phuket's an island, so if you want me to hop in place, ha ha ha. No, I know what you meant. Volume is pinging. Can you try to lower your voice? Yeah, well, you know that's not happening. It's interesting that you say that because, I mean, I am a meter from the microphone. And, well, you know what? I'll tell you what. Let me do this, Rob, because I do want to try some things, as you know. Let me turn on audio processing and see that if it has some gating. Let me see here. Okay, so the audio processing is now back on. And one could argue that the basic audio processing should be a compressor limiter. But who knows how they designed it. They certainly don't give you any tweaking tools, which really pisses me off. I wish I could modify. I wish I could modulate the volume. This company that I'm basically going to be beta testing their live streaming platform and software, they're called Shuffle, S-H-U-F-F-L-L. And, you know, what I've seen so far is pretty damn impressive. And so, but they said, well, what do you think we should add? I said, I think you should add a little freaking volume control / VU meter next to the audio of each guest that you bring on. Because every single person has a ridiculous delta in their audio. You know, I mean, if you could put a compressor and a limiter and maybe a noise suppression on it, that would be epic. But for God's sake, at least give me some gain control, bro. So anyway. The Thong Beach is where I'll find the condoms. Yeah, absolutely. Set up redundant devices with separate Win 10 Linux. OS accounts, no real. Yeah, absolutely. Whoop. I just scrolled like mad. Sorry about that. I just missed a whole bunch. I did want to, I think Dana said something about the audio processing, so I want to see what that said. Audio processing in StreamYard is just a hard limiter. Oh, that's all it is? All right, well. Now I'm not in the sync. Go back to before. Okay. Why can't you use Dead Cat with this array? I am using Dead Cat right now. That's the thing, Aztec. I'm using the same microphone, but I'm using StreamYard instead of the YouTube app, and so therefore the audio is significantly different, which I find odd. Rob, make another video. I've been waiting. Yeah, I mean, it's only been like a 2 or so a day. 20 seconds in Thailand. That's a byproduct of the audio processing because it causes delay in the processing process. Yeah, that's right, because you got to stream it up there, and then they got to squirt it back, right? Yeah. Although, to be fair, Dana, I'll tell you, Lightstream, their processing is a hell of a lot better and very few artifacts. Very few artifacts. How can they have a hard limiter and not at least have some AGC, for God's sake? I don't know. Oh, let me ask you this, Dana, because I swear I found one and then like completely got distracted and didn't download it. I was looking for a Chrome plug-in audio processor, and I swear I found one in the store and then again got distracted. But I've been Googling it, you know, like Chrome plug-in audio processor, and it had compressor, limiter, and gain, and I'm going, what are you kidding me? This is perfect for all these in-browser live streaming solutions. But I can't find it, so let me know if you know of anything. Yeah, I'm in StreamYard. I found, Dana says I found that the processing on StreamYard causes about 40 to 60 milliseconds of delay. Well, again, I'm mobile, tethered to my phone. I'm also, you know, recording, if you will, streaming from my Huawei Honor 7A, which, you know, I mean, you don't necessarily know the specs because you know the model, but at the end of the day, let's just say I think it cost me 3,500 baht. So, you know, it's got like 32 gigs internal, and then I got another 32 gig card for the videos, but I think it's only got like 3 gigs of RAM. So, although I cleared out as much as I could, I think I've got at least think I've got at least 1.3 RAM free, but anyway. So I brought some water, which I'm going to have right now. But I'm going to turn back. That's the other thing. And, you know, and that's what's funny about walking on the beach is, like, I rarely look back until it's too late, as they say. So let me get some water before dehydration sets in, because we know how comfortable that is. Ooh. Stand by. Well, you know what? This battery, I'm at 26%. So basically, I don't believe, the lights are on. I think it would probably discharge a lot faster. Oh, sorry. There is a Chrome plugin called Equalizer that a lot of people use, but I don't, since I do all my own. Oh, yeah. No, dude, if I could carry my my Behringer in the back of my backpack, which I have done before. I traveled down to Pattaya with my little Behringer before. That rig that I was telling you about, actually, when we were talking about that was my first time taking it on the road. And I cruised down to Pattaya for like one of my first live streams back in January, I think. End of January? Yeah. But to be fair, I actually have a lot of confidence in the YouTube app for live streaming. So, and considering I know the audio quality using the shotgun, using the YouTube app with this thing is good on this phone. I just need to, I bet you all I need to do is update the app. Because all that Chrome is an app, and this is working great, so. Oh my God, how lucky am I? There's actually a trash barrel over here. This is great. There's a huge field over here, guys. Can you see it? No, I'm just kidding. I should have brought more water. I'm pretty friggin' thirsty. But thank you guys for the super chat. Oh my goodness, I seriously didn't even see it until I just said, Joseph, thank you. Have a good lunch, and after you end your video, I will. I was just going to say that I'm going to head over to, I'm probably not going to get some lunch. It's like, it's so hot and humid, I don't want to eat, you know, it's one of those deals. But boy, could I go for some more cold water. So I'll definitely put that to good use. Joseph, thank you very much. And the other thing I was going to say is thank you to the other guys that super chatted, because that'll definitely pay for my lunch. So that's awesome. Spin this around, and we'll get back on the beach. Your Zoom H6. Yeah, I can understand why you have one of those, but I would prefer to have a live mixer. I mean, I guess you can use it as like a little mini mixer, but let's face it, I mean, a lot of the footprint is not just mixer. It's recording, and then, you know, I mean, I love the gain. I love the volume controls. That's awesome. And obviously, it's got XLR and tip ring sleeve, which is friggin' sweet. And I guess, well, let me ask you. You can use it as a mixer, right? I mean, in other words, you can use it live. There's an audio out. Is there USB out? That would be friggin' amazing. As far as I know, all you can do is record on Mini. Heaven behind Mike. It's not far. It's not HD. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you're right, Caesar. I'm going to get a full smoothie. I'm going to kick it up a notch, brah. How's it, brah? Kick it up a notch, brah. It's the kind, brah. Kick it up a notch. All right, that's not how they talk. If the doctor was here, if ERMD was here, he'd be like, Mike, stop. You might even not be deserving of the shaka, Mike. You're talking like a howley. The price tag to Stream HD. Oh, it doesn't actually cost any more. What it requires is more bandwidth, basically, and less. There's more latency as I'm physically moving, right? So Yes, I used it as a USB mixer when I was recording the Southeast Asia his broadcast all around Southeast Asia. I would travel with the Zoom 2 SM57s, MacBook Pro. Smartphones never have Zoom. Yeah, they do. Yes, for sure. On both sides. But yeah, how much is it though, Dana? Aren't they like $650? I mean, aren't they like a ridiculous amount of, I mean, you're buying a lot of features. I would only want to be buying basically a USB mixer. And, I don't need a recorder and that sort of thing. Anyway, Dana, I got your line too. And hey, I just got a message from Big C. They're having a sale on, yeah, shocker. You guys ever been over here and in the Big C, you're like walking around and all of a sudden you hear, promotion is now. That's one of those things that I think about like when I'm not here, right? Like when I was back home, I would think about next station, na. Sutani Kao Pai, na. But then I would also think of promotion is now. They're like, hey, dude, you speak English, right? I tell you what, do a direct translation of this Thai, even if it doesn't make grammatical sense. Sure. That's a pretty sweet place to eat lunch. Nice. As I bother them with my outdoor voice. Hopefully not too much. What am I looking at for battery? I've got, all right, it's hovering at 25%. So the good news is this battery essentially keeps the power pretty solid. So, shoot, I've been going for over an hour on this thing. That's great. Thank you, StreamYard. Thank you, Spunny. Bark, bark. You guys remember that? Around Easter time with the Cadbury. Thanks, Spunny. Bark, bark. The limited speed. Well, the limited speed, and there's latency, and there's throughput. There's a couple of metrics. Want to see grains of sand. Oh, there you go. How'd I do? Use it for recording a lot because it comes with a stereo recorder. I would use it to record background ambiance for radio shows and podcasts. Very cool. I was hanging out. I was talking with Michael, Dana over at True Digital Park, and we're gonna do a live, show together, right? And so he's like, "But can you do output 2 tracks? Like in other words, one mic on one track, one mic on the other." Because he edits it down and he wants to have each individual input on its own individual output effectively. So, knowing that with that mixer, considering it's stereo, have you had success and or need pan mic 1 to the left, pan mic 2 to the right, and then the output is a dual channel solution that you've then edited later? In considering today's technology, once you pan something all the way to the left, I'm confident that it's probably about 120 dB down on the right channel, so you can't hear it at all. So there's no overlap, which is probably pretty nice. But my earworm, next station. Nah. I'll tell you, there's so many, I was thinking about, there's so many things I've loved about Thailand since I first saw them. And BTS is one of them. I remember, I was only in Bangkok a few days, my first few days. And the concierge lady over at the JW, she's like, "Oh yeah, take the BTS over to this boat thing, and then take this boat thing up the river, and just tell them you want to go to Wat Po." And she's like, "Now, when you get there, they're going to tell you it's closed. It's not closed. Don't get in the van with them." And I'm like, "What?" And she was telling me about, here's a scam you need to be aware of, and don't worry about it. But 14 thumbs up. Look at that, guys. 14 million shakas, baby. Oh, wow, that's pretty nice. The H6 records each input as its own track. That's if you record on it. I could use, I mean, most Behringers, with the exception of mine, of course, it's only got one output, right? There's no pan on the mic that I have, and there's only one mic input anyway, but I need a couple of different sends, but even on the lowest cost Behringer / Mackie, maybe program 1, program 2, audition aux. Actually, usually they'll have an aux output, aux send. I used to only buy Mackie, and then we were somewhere, and I needed to get a mixer like that day, and they only had Behringers, and of course I turned my nose up at them, saying, well, these are just copies of Mackies. Of course, they're half to a third the price. And I bought it and I used it, and I've never bought another Mackie. Because I'm like, okay, look, yeah, you could argue that they're copying them, but they've been in business way too long for them to survive any number of lawsuits. So I'm guessing that, they're going to be around for a while. And sure enough, Behringers, I mean, I would submit, I don't know about you, Dana, but I would submit there's a hell of a lot more Behringer gear over in Pro Plugin than there is Mackie gear, right? Well, maybe not. I don't know. Minute 20. My arm's kind of giving out. Because I'm holding the tripod, right? So it's like the heaviest of selfie sticks. So there's an angle to this beach. So it's not an awesome, long walking beach, But, and the tide's fairly up. So I'm not getting a whole lot of hard pack. So it's a little bit imperfect, but, trust me. If this is as imperfect as my life gets, I'm okay with it. Love that sound, man. Just great. I may walk up here a little bit, actually, because there's a higher likelihood of hard pack sand, and I might actually get some shade. Because it's hot. It's, I'm going to go with, well, I still kind of think it's Fahrenheit, believe it or not. It's probably about 102. Feels like 102. I'm sure it's only like 95, 96, but the humidity is not nothing. Oh yeah, that feels a lot better walking on that is quite an incline, actually. I didn't really notice that. Whew, I need some water. I didn't prepare well on that one. That's good to know. Thank you, Dana, for that. As far as using GarageBand, because he showed me that he's using Audacity, and I was like, yeah, I mean, that's a decent one. It's worth the money. It's free. But, I mean, you've got a Mac, so, I mean, it comes with GarageBand anyway, as far as I know, right? I don't know, maybe it's part of some suite of software that just came with the ones I've always bought. But anyway, I'm pretty confident he's got GarageBand, so that'd be kind of cool. Wow. Well, I tell you what, I'm going to actually put the old mobile broadcast studio along with the dead cat in my bag and call it an afternoon, and I'm going to cruise up here. I'm going to get some water. I'm going to use your money to eat lunch. Thank you guys very much, along with buy like a lot of water. And anyway, it would be imperfection, yeah. I want to thank you guys so much for your patience, first of all, this morning. For your super chats, big time. and for hanging out with me and keeping me sane. It still says there's 15 of you there, which is awesome. I think we peaked at about 20 or 21. That's fantastic. Looking forward to see how many thumbs up we've got, how many likes we've had on the video. But with that, it's Mike's from LiveMyAssOff.com saying, I hope you guys are living the dream. Because if you're not living the dream, then probably like me, you forgot to bring water going on a very long walk on a very hot day. I'll talk to you soon. Ciao.